For years, Postal fans have cried out for another dark and gritty installment to the series, a return to the gruesome and paranoid stylings found in the first game. The game that launched Running with Scissors into notoriety in 1997 is now getting a spiritual sequel, introducing Flesh and Wire. The name Flesh and Wire has actually followed Running with Scissors since the early days, as far back as the late 90s, but it has finally taken form as a first-person shooter with a focus on psychological horror. You play as Angel, a victim of the first massacre, now hell-bent on hunting down and revenging the one responsible. The journey will take you through familiar locales, uncovering a greater conspiracy, and pit you up against zealots, government agents, and beings from further beyond. But the question remains, with a damaged psyche and a loosening grip on reality, will Angel become an even greater monster while attempting to deliver their own brand of justice? While there are some locations that appear in both Postal 1 and 2 to an extent, we will be returning to the paradise of old in the wake of Dude's destruction. I was positively giddy to see what looks like the train station and the church return in the trailer, and this screenshot of the industrial complex. It's unclear if they're all exactly the same spots, but it will be interesting to see a different spin on them and explore them up close, even more so if they're based on the original designs. Another speculation is this line on the Steam page.
From the familiar streets of home to the fringes of the city limits and onward, reaching the desolate valleys and snow-topped mountains.
Which could mean that the game will build to its finale on the snowy mountaintops where Postal began. I may be dreaming too big here, but I would also love to see something from the cut level reincorporated into Flesh and Wire. The original Postal really muddies the water between perception and reality, blurring the line with different and often conflicting perspectives, like the dated entries in the game, the war journal in the manual, the final speech, and the news reports that were unfortunately sidelined to the game's marketing. While the dude's rampage is justified from his point of view, from another angle, his actions are clearly abhorrent. But the game never presents a definitive reality. It seems like Flesh and Wire will follow a similar direction, with Angel experiencing grotesque visions that blend memories and monsters. The only real visual of this that we get is in the trailer with the barbed wire coiling around her arms, and this could tie in with the non-traditional weaponry or powers mentioned here. While Flesh and Wire seems to take a lot of cues from the original game, it seems to use them as a jumping off point and then expands upon them. Another returning hallmark can be found in the journal. While originally a brief insight into Dude's state of mind in each level, it's now a repository for everything you encounter, continuously documenting the creatures you come across, as well as secret messages and clues of an unraveling conspiracy surrounded in bloodshed. It's hard not to draw a comparison between the artwork seen in the trailer and those that appear in Postal Redux. While abstract, I feel like there is something to be interpreted from them. Bloated corpses appear affixed to the neural pathways of Angel's mind, blood and exit wounds glowing bright, appearing to represent the traumatic memories of the victims. A crimson egg, with a spiderweb of fractures, is pierced by a projectile, and a figure is seen moving inside. This may be the core of Angel's violent potential, split open by Dude's bullet. And in the final shot of the trailer, we're introduced to this creature. There's several intriguing qualities to its design. There is wire piercing the body, but it isn't barbed as that which covers Angel's arms. At least one, but presumably both ears, are not just missing, but have been severed completely. Moving on to the mask, it's fractured into two pieces, but not precisely down the middle. Additionally, the teeth differ between the two halves, one side being quite uniform, and the other looking jagged and shattered. Finally, there is only one visible eyeball, peering through the smaller, less aligned side of the mask. The way the mask clings to the face with long, sinuous strands has a strong parallel with this key art of Angel. What it is, or what it represents exactly, is still a long ways off, but I'd love to hear your interpretations down in the comments. Even with both feet planted squarely in the viscera of Postal 1, I can't help but feel there's still a little crumb of 2 still present, mainly in the scene of you using a baseball bat to completely knock the block off of this soldier. I'm also looking forward to driving a 4-wheel motorcycle and shooting a handgun at the same time. Ultimately, this developmental sidestep seems like a good move. As I said in the opening, people have wanted more horror-adjacent Postal for a very long time. I'm personally looking forward to another dip into the grimdark pool, and this will hopefully be a breath of fresh air amongst some of the series' more stagnant humour. The brand of comedy in Postal 2 came about after Running with Scissors mag-dumped misery into the first game so hard that they needed a tonal shift. Now, after 20 years, it looks like we're seeing exactly that play out again, in reverse.